Hello, everybody. I am Professor Andy Molnar, and I am excited to be with you here for this course, any course really, but this course is fun. Project performance, project management and performance. Exciting, right? And what a great week one we have. Hey, couple of hints. Make sure it's your own work. Don't use AI even to check your English. I'm not grading for English. I'm grading for your critical thinking skills. So, and to put these pieces together, be yourself, reference your sources. A reference source is a benefit to you because it means that somebody else who is deeply schooled in this agrees with you, right? So have an opinion, support it with sources, and reference them. It's exciting and not hard, but a super great journey. Let's begin. This is one of my favorite things to discuss right here. And in doing so, what I really want to say is that, what makes projects so difficult? One of the things is that, you know, I like to say for fun, we turn chaos into order. That's what project managers do. But what do I really mean by that, right? Uh, we would all start by agreeing that not all work is equal, right? And if we categorize our work by various characteristics, we can see that the work we're doing lies somewhere in this continuum between the simple on the left side in green and chaos in red, right? So this slide is meant to express that continuum. And frankly, I have found through experience that there are four places that you can identify a project with these simple words: simple, complicated, complex, and chaos, right? And everything we do in project management is going to fall along that continuum. It's not that simple, but it's a pretty good image of what we're trying to do, right? And so, frankly, there are going to be different ways to approach these various places that you're at on this continuum, right? And so you have to ask yourself, where does my project fit? Right? So, what do I mean by simple? Simple things are things that we master and then repeat, right? So, as a young person, most of us mastered tying our shoes, right? We don't have to relearn it, right? We can go weeks without tying our shoes. It just becomes a part of muscle memory. That's what I mean by simple. Now, what's complicated then? Well, complicated are really things that are made up of many simple things. Okay. And because there are many simple things, it gets complicated because there are a lot of pieces to integrate, right? But even in complicated, these are things that are replicable, right? They're repeatable, right? They have only so many steps, right? And it's more difficult. We're still using muscle memory, but the only level of complex of difficulty here is that there are many simple items to put together. Now, the complex makes me think of the human body. The human body is complex. Driving in Los Angeles or Washington, D.C., that's complex, right? The weather is complex, right? We would probably all agree. So even organizational behavior and projects are complex. So things that are complex can't be put necessarily right into a defined process because they're always changing. We don't know exactly what they will be at any given point, but we can understand and model the behavior, right? And so what we do, what's really important here is learning. Learning helps us build a structure, the rules and the processes which support the characteristics of project management. And this is the type of thing we're doing as we stand up most projects and as we understand what we're doing. And frankly, a lot of projects start in the chaos. Chaos are things that we really don't understand. The boss says, Here's your deliverable. Go do it. I need it done by. Okay, not really much. We don't really understand. I've got a lot to learn as a project manager. So these things can be turned into complex, right? That's a benefit. Let me get my pen out. I'll do it in green. So I take the chaos, and what I want to do, I got to click draw, click green. I take the chaos and I want to move it back to complex, right? That's the first step of project management. For a person in America, sometimes driving in another country, like from America, not Washington D.C. That's complex too. I mean, like just the outskirts of Virginia, right? Easy peasy. Versus Cairo. I've had cab rides in Cairo, very complex, right? And so there really aren't in some places, U.S. or there, uh, known structures or known rules to help us to be successful. And so, but the people from that location can do it because they can use their intuition and they understand the system because they've learned it, right? And they can navigate the chaos. So chaos can be sorted out. Eventually, we want to take chaos, bring it back to complex. If you're starting out complex, perfect. Then you want to drive it back to complicated, which are multiple simple processes. The top dog answer would be make it simple, but a lot of things never will get there. Anyhow, that's an explanation slide. Very important concept, right? The simple is just do it, tying your shoes. The complicated can be defined, bunch of simple things defined by process. The complex, these become an empirical process. And the chaos, we're using our project manager intuition to help dial that back. Most of the time, we are going to operate once a project is underway in this realm. Okay? All right. That was exciting. It actually goes by a name. It's called the Stacy Matrix, just to talk about and to model what I'm looking for in your papers, right? You can offer a concept, but then if there's something that's been published to support it, bam, this would be my support, the Stacy Matrix. This is a model proposed by a guy named Ralph Stacy, and he was trying to determine the characteristics of work based on a degree of uncertainty and a level of agreement with the stakeholders. So people do the work and they have to deal with the requirements and the technology. The requirements here begin to represent the what we want to do or deliver. The technology piece here represents the how or the delivery architecture. And so this and the delivery architecture, of course, made up of a lot of processes and tools along the way that can be highlighted and transition from sophisticated, hopefully dialing it back to simple. And the advantage is by understanding the work characteristics, we can understand the approach that is going to best fit with our project work. Simple things can be accommodated by defined processes successfully because you're using muscle memory. But as things get more complex, the way we approach the work needs to account for the need to learn. And that's really how we drive back things. They use the term anarchy here. On the previous slide, I used the term chaos, same thing. But how do we drive it back? Well, one of the ways we drive it back, no matter what type of project that we are doing, is we drive it back here by learning. And learning comes in a lot of ways. It comes in terms of feedback. It comes in terms of the team lessons learned and team agreements, a lessons learned register, lots of project management tools to create the performance you are seeking. So it's really kind of neat, right? If we're inventing something, it's going to require learning to be successful, right? As an example. Learning may involve failing, right? And so, Edison, what did Edison say? Somebody asked Edison, hey, what was it like to fail 10,000 times before coming up with a light bulb that worked? He said, I didn't fail 10,000 times. I quickly found 10,000 ways that it didn't work and learned from them. That's a paraphrase, but you see the point. This is what I mean about as a project manager. I just start on one end, consider it all chaos, and I move towards simple through complex and complicated. And learning is the key there and how you document it. Kind of neat. I think that was exciting. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, there'll be a couple of short 15-minute lectures in this portion for week 1. So let's just continue with this one. Now, so now that I understand what a project is and that I'm turning chaos into order or simple, largely through learning and how I collect it, categorize it, and share it, sharing knowledge with others. Very important point, knowledge sharing. Now I want to talk about project, program, and portfolio management. Sometimes we abbreviate it just PPPM, and you can see that here, PPPM, and that's where that comes from, right? Professionals at all levels need to be able to cultivate decision-making skills. So there's decision-making at the project level, at a program level, and a portfolio level. We're going to talk about those levels in a minute, but it's all about decision-making at those levels and alignment. So the key here is decision-making, I'm having a hard time writing and talking, decision-making, and it's about alignment, right? Because when I say a project, alignment, I'm talking you. But now program and projects, I'm talking the rest of the company. So let's take a look at those. Here I'm going to expand out. Let's see, I hope it grabs it. Oh, it doesn't. Okay. So what I'm going to do is there you go. So what is the PMO? The PMO is at the highest level, right? If I have an umbrella or a hierarchy, I would call it my project management office or PMO. This is really at the top, okay? And there are 3 kinds of project management office, supportive, a controlling, and a directive. You can read the bullets yourself and take a moment to say to yourself, wow, in the company I work for, 1, do we have a PMO? 2, is that PMO then a supportive kind, or is it more of a controlling kind? And controlling is not a bad word in project management. Or is it more directive, right? And of course, it can take various other approaches in Agile. You can pause the slide, read those for yourself. A lot of organizations have established a PMO, but even those PMOs can be different, whether they're supportive, controlling, or directive. So the project management office is that structure that standardizes, this is really key, standardizes the project and all of the related governance that goes with it. How do you collect resources that you need? What are the methodologies you should use? What tools and techniques are common that they need to use? That sort of thing. Okay, so that's a PMO. Now, you can see here that the PMO, there are various levels. Of course, I could be talking external to the company or internal, but you see deep within the internal company, I am really talking about values. So this concept, organizational project management, is really about this concept here called value, right? Every project must bring value to the organization. And you can see that, and a PMO is going to do that. A PMO, which we just talked about, is that overarching organization. It's going to have portfolio management, which will have related programs under it and lots of related projects as well. And that's kind of the hierarchy, right?